Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Inspiring Healthy Living evening. We are so grateful that you joined us. I know that you're going to be completely inspired and blessed by being here with us tonight. My name is Loretta Wilkins. I'm a presidential marketing director with the Juice Plus Company. I have been a mom on a mission. I'm now a grandma on a mission for many years. And this is what we do. We come together to be able to educate and to be able to share and to be able to make sure that people understand what we have when we tell them about Juice Plus. And so if you are a guest here with us tonight, we welcome you. We know that this is going to just be great information for you. And I get the honor and the privilege to introduce one of my best friends in life, Dr. JanetRoberti. So amazing for both of us is this community is way more than just our product. It is about the friendships. It is about the relationships. It is about the positive environment that we get to be a part of. And it's the fact that we come alongside people when it comes to their health and wellness. And so this is why you being here tonight is going to be impactful, meaningful, and so great to have you. So I'm going to go ahead and read Jan's bio, because I could introduce her all day long as my friend, but I need you to know the person that's in front of you tonight is incredibly amazing in every way. But here is what you need to know about her tonight. Dr. JanetRoberti is a medical doctor who has been practicing family medicine since 1989. She, along with her husband, Mark, and 6 other physicians, provide comprehensive primary care to over 10,000 patients in Springfield, Ohio. For 30 years, she served as part owner and managing partner of the Springfield Center for Family Medicine, which has recently merged with the Kettering Health Network. She is board certified in family medicine and is an active member of the Scion Medical Center with Kettering Health Network. She completed her undergraduate degree from the University of Cincinnati and received her doctorate of medicine from the Wright State University School of Medicine in Dayton, Ohio. She then completed a 3-year residency in family medicine and is a member of the American Academy of Family Physicians. She's passionate about the message of staying healthy by choosing a lifestyle that promotes wellness and longevity. She and her husband, Mark, have one son, Samuel, who received his medical degree in 2015 and is board certified in internal medicine, and also proud grandma of 2. And just so you know, this person has a heart for all of you. She's here because she cares. And Jan, we're just so grateful for you to carve out time with us tonight.
Thank you, Loretta, and thank you, all of you. Oh my gosh, there's over 200 logged on, and who knows how many more. So what an opportunity, what a privilege to connect, share some of my heart with you, hopefully inspire you with my story and some facts and information. But I just want to say that this community of people, this mission has just been a lifeline for me for 20 years. And I have been so grateful. And I'll tell you a little bit more of my story as we go along, but I'll tell you, Juice Plus found me. I didn't look for it. So what a miracle, what a blessing. And I just want to say that, part of this is just being able to meet people like Loretta. So isn't she amazing? So thank you. So let's talk about abundant health and vitality, right? So I just want to point out a few obvious things. You're going down this stream of life, and are you reactive or are you being proactive? And so I have a saying that says, don't wait for a crisis to know what's important. And I just want you to just begin with that little simple inventory of where are you, because you just never know. And unfortunately, most people wait until they have to. So now maybe you get to choose to, and isn't choosing better than have to? And so, again, crisis happens. I was in the hospital for 26 years, seeing patients, and also in the office. And I just know what families go through. I know the terror. I know the heartbreak of an unexpected, unplanned illness. And so I just want to be here to encourage you, first of all, to start to choose perhaps vitality. And, what is that? It really is the sum of the choices that you make now. If your lifestyle doesn't control your body, eventually your body will control your lifestyle. And if that isn't true, I'm sure we could all share a lot of stories. So because of my talk is abundant health and vitality, let's just sort of talk about that. Some people are over there on the surviving side, waiting for that crisis. And then there are others that have gradually moved over to thriving. And so how does this happen? Well, you think of the word health, and sometimes that's obvious, but sometimes it's not obvious. It's what's going on inside. We call that physiology. Okay, I'm not going to get too detailed here, but that's the truth, is what's going on inside. So, it might not be so good. It could be poor. It could be unaddressed. It could be neglected. That just surviving side that I showed you a minute ago. It could be recovering physiology, whether it's recovering from surgery, an illness, an infection, trauma, stress. It could just be status quo. You really don't have an issue yet that you know of. You could be improving. You could be taking positive changes that are starting to empower you, or you could be at your peak. Somebody that is doing healthy eating, exercising, water. We're going to talk about those things. So where are you in the spectrum? Because ultimately that will determine your health. And then we want to look at the word performance. So if you are at any of those areas of physiology, where are you with performance? That is what's happening perhaps on the cell level. Do you have inflammation, or do you have reduction of inflammation? We'll talk about that. Do you have energy? Energy to do that extra thing at the end of the day, that energy to perhaps do one more workout or to take that 20-minute walk. It could be just absence of known disease. That could just be your status quo. It could be recovery. Performance is also recovering from perhaps illness, exertion, or even a workout. And then the outcome could be a healthy pregnancy, that athletic edge, being able to work out harder. It could be, again, being that mom doing 3 things at once and still having a spring in her step at the end of the day, or working, a full day and coming home and still wanting to cook and not wanting to go to the bed, right? So what I want to do is to shine a light on heart disease, because first of all, I've had many experiences personally you'll hear about, but 80% of heart disease can be prevented by lifestyle change and education. And number one, before that, is that heart disease and stroke is still the number one cause of death, period, hands down. It hasn't changed. But 80% can be prevented. And I don't know about you, but I think that's a huge, huge opportunity. And so what are the risk factors? Obviously, physical inactivity, poor nutrition, not being at an ideal weight, but also cholesterol, which, is measurable. It's also a relationship of your diet and your stress level. Smoking, obviously, is a risk factor. Diabetes, as well as high blood pressure. These all contribute to some of those risk factors. And I don't have stress on there, but I should. So that's another one. And so what I want to do is give you some hope, give you a little bit of optimism as to what some people do. And have you heard of the blue zones? And so if you haven't, you can look it up. It's becoming quite popular because of Netflix and that series. But there are these certain areas in the world that have been studied because they have the largest population of those that live to be over 90. And one in particular happens to be in Loma Linda, California, which is a population of Seventh-day Adventists that have a philosophy of healthy eating, exercise, vegetarian, spiritual use or spiritual practice. And they're also in these various areas over the country where these blue zones are being practiced. So I'm going to just give you some tips. You can also go read the book if you want. But It's interesting because they call it the power of 9. And so what are those? So first of all, natural physical activity, make that a natural part. It doesn't have to be going to the gym. It could be walking or riding a bike, but do it naturally if possible. In some of these communities, they ride bikes everywhere. Have the right mindset, the right outlook, know your purpose, and know when to slow down. Purpose is so important because even somebody that's retired has to still have a purpose of what they are doing to contribute and to feel good. Work less, slow down, take vacations, downshift, connect in the blue. So who are your tribe of 5 people? I am so blessed that my 5 are part of this community. Reconnect with faith and have family be a priority. And they also, those in the blue zones, they stop eating before they're full. They eat more plants, less meat. They eat real food. They avoid sugar, processed foods, and they connect daily. Wine at 5. And everybody laughs at that. But what that really means is to stop your day and have a point where you say, I'm done and it's time to rest. So I'm going to also share now. Those are 9, might seem like a lot. I'm going to say 4 quick ones, okay? So I call it the core 4. And these are simple, healthy habits. Again, exercise, stress less, sleep more, drink water, and eat real food. So these core 4 are habits that our community will empower and encourage people that, they can also start to make some changes. And after 20 years with me, I have practiced all of these, and I know that it has made a huge difference in the way I feel. So what exercise, whatever you want to do, whatever works for you, again, whatever it is, just do it more consistently. Stress less, sleep more. There's a lot to be said about this. People say, well, how am I supposed to have less stress? Well, there are techniques, there are, ways to calm your mind and to, unclutter your thinking so that if you are feeling stressed, you can choose out of it. Or, obviously sleep more. Make sure you have good habits in place to get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep. More water. Water is everything. It improves your mental clarity. It replaces losses. It carries those nutrients, helps with weight loss, bowel function, skin health. Water is the best. Okay. And then 4, food. Okay. This is where we're going to spend a little bit of time because we have solutions. And part of what we're sharing are those practical solutions. So which way you're going to go? And I'm here to say I'm not to offend anybody, but I really think that pictures can make a huge difference. And so obviously we want to be choosing closer to the right. Now, there was a study in June of 19 that Tufts University had published. And it mentions that food is medicine and that prescribing just more fruits and vegetables could save about 100 billion in medical costs and prevent millions of cases of chronic disease. Remember this slide. We are going to come back to it in a short period of time because I really want to show you something totally fascinating and exciting. So we are recommended to eat 7 to 13 servings a day of fresh fruits and vegetables. USDA, National Cancer Institute, most people, by the studies we know, eat less than 5. The average is 3. So with all of this discussion, we are not doing very well. So why is it you don't just want to be told what to do, right? I certainly don't. I need to understand the why behind it. And so what I want to show you now are just some quick concepts to know why fruits and vegetables are so important. Just like eating an apple, if you leave it out, it turns brown. Well, that is no different than what is happening in your body at every single cell. You see a normal cell, you see what we call free radicals that are attacking that normal cell, and then you see the effects of those free radicals, which is called oxidative stress or oxidation. Maybe a little big word there, but oxidation is the root of aging, disease, decay, inflammation is what's happening there at the cell level. So there's your cell membrane. And so you have what we call free radicals that are a byproduct of energy production. They're also part of, stress. Stress produces more free radicals, pregnancy, more free radicals. But the bottom line is we make energy and the byproduct are free radicals. And our body needs to deal with those oxidative stress, those free radicals. And so about 10,000 per cell per day. And guess what? That leads to inflammation. Oxidation, you can almost substitute the word inflammation, again, at the cell level. It leads to, over time, chronic inflammation, cancer, neurological disease, Parkinson's, asthma, lung disease, joint disease, metabolic problems, diabetes, heart disease, which we're going to talk about some more, heart failure, stroke, high blood pressure, autoimmune, huge problem these days. So I wanted you to see why it is important at the cell level, because every 120 days, one blood cell will last about 120 days. So half of our cells are stable right now. A fourth are dying off. A fourth are brand new. So guess what? We get to make some changes and armor up to protect those good cells. Get rid of the old, that's fine, but let's have some new habits. Every 120 days, we have another chance, right, to get down and dirty at the cell level. So we're going to armor up. And I'm sure that you understand that the opposite of free radicals is what we're talking about, antioxidants. Antioxidants are what we find in fruits and vegetables. That is the bottom line answer. And guess what? We know by studies for years and years and years that fruits and vegetables protect, they neutralize, and they repair at the cell level. But guess how many cells we have? 30 trillion red blood cells. That is a lot. And guess how many organs? Those cells make up 79 organs, which have to all function together with 11 systems. The respiratory system, digestive, circulatory, muscular. That's how it works, okay? A very small amount of a lot of cells turn into 11 systems. And my question to you is, which cell do you want to protect? Look how important all of those cells are because they make up all of those systems. And so what I want to do is talk about macronutrients, which are the calories in carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And so you get to choose, again, which way you want to go. And so you want to choose the carbohydrates, fats, and proteins that nourish you and build you up, and not the ones that are empty calories. And then we also have something called micronutrients. And the micronutrients are what are contained in plant powders that actually provide vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, and antioxidants. So let me just paint a picture here. When you go to buy broccoli at the store, do you look at a label, or do you know broccoli is good for you? Do you know that there are only about 13 vitamins out there, about 100 minerals, 25,000 phytonutrients, and hundreds of thousands of antioxidants contained in produce, vegetables, and fruits? And so we want to understand that more is better. More is better. If you get in 3 a day, 5 is a great goal. If you get in 5, get in 7. If you get in 7, shoot for 9. What do you think would happen? And to remind you and illustrate again, that, in that apple, you're not looking at a label either, but you see a multivitamin with a few things listed. But here's about 400 nutrients that are named in an apple, including vitamin C. And that vitamin C in that apple has been measured, and it's very small. It's just 5.7 milligrams. But it has been shown through a study that it is as powerful as 1,500 milligrams. So a tiny bit in that apple is powerful, like 1,500 milligrams, because of what we call the synergy. So all of those nutrients in the produce work together to make each one more important, more effective. So I heard this message and I'm like, okay, let me find out a little more. And I heard Dr. Katz from Yale University say there needs to be an effort to get people to eat more fruits and vegetables. Remember, I showed you that Tufts University said that eating more fruits and vegetables could save $100 billion in healthcare costs, right? Well, as a physician, I've been practicing for 30 years and I've seen it all. I have seen all kinds of diets and all kinds of things people do. And at the end of the day, diet matters. And so I popped into this community 20 years ago because a friend kept asking me for 2 years. She asked me to come on along, come take a look. And, I already knew that these plant powders were important because my husband had started to take them after he'd had an early heart blockage at the age of 42. And it was a 90% blockage. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But I already kind of knew that it was good, but I didn't think it was for me. Okay. The only reason I'm here today is because I actually went to a conference where I met people like you all. And I'm like, this is for real. These people really are doing something. And I realized then that Juice Plus was the answer to help bridge that gap, between what you're supposed to eat and what you do eat. And let me tell you, none of us have it all together. We are not perfect, but we're moving along that continuum. And I just love this picture because it's like a salad bar in a capsule. And wouldn't you just love to have all of that plant powder in your body every single day? And that's where Juice Plus has just stole my heart in so many ways, because we really are functional food, functional plant powders with the nutrition of over 30 fruits and vegetables, berries, and 10 omegas in a capsule that you can swallow every day. Plant powders in a capsule. So just take a peek here and see what you have been eating on a routine basis. What do you need more of? What do you never eat? When is the last time that you had a prune or had an acerola cherry, which is full of vitamin C, blueberries, blackberries, and then our omegas, which is primarily from algae oil, as well as a few other oils, but totally plant-based. And so it starts with our commitment to our growers, to knowing our relationship with the farmers that are, in the United States, in a lot of our local neighborhoods I shouldn't say that, it's not local neighborhoods, but they're in the US, and they're farmers that are privileged. They feel privileged to be part of our mission. The seed, the soil is totally tested all the way through. There's no concern with contaminants or cross-contamination, harvested at peak ripeness, no herbicides, no insecticides, totally clean, and then picked at peak ripeness, and then actually pulverized and flash dried to preserve the nutrient intensity. And the fluid is obviously gone, and they are turned into these beautiful plant powders that are then encapsulated. And so It's a process that is totally fascinating. Not only do we have a food label, but there is oversight with various governing bodies and the FDA and other regulations to keep us clean, pure, nutrition facts. No, nothing that's not supposed to be in there is not in there. That's why we have the NSF certification. You can actually read the label, and what's on there, is totally from the plan itself. And so what we want to do is also just understand the difference between fish oil and omegas. And so we do have this amazing plant-based omega, which we already know omegas work for heart, brain, joints, skin, and eyes. We do have a study that showed that our omega got to the cell membrane as measured by the omega index in half of the time that fish oil, with half of the quantity. So you don't need to worry about DHA, EPA quantity, because it's already been proven to show up where it needs to go, if that makes sense. It's a higher quality. And so this NSF certification independently says that what's on the label is in the bottle. There's no other undeclared contaminants or other ingredients. And also the non-GMO, this is better than organic. We certify safety, and we certify that it's clean and that there's never a worry at all. So, talking about worries, how about our children? Who is concerned about their children or their grandchildren and what they're eating or what they're not eating? So our son started with this Healthy Starts for Families, and we can now be on it for up to 21 years, from age 4 through 25. If somebody's 21, they can stay through 25 if an adult is also sponsoring them. So they can get it for free, except for $20 for shipping. 2/3 are eating more vegetables and fruits. They're sick less often. They're eating more healthy food. They're drinking more water. Who would not be excited about that? I know I am, and I know that our grandchildren now are, and I can honestly say they have never been to see a physician for any illness. The next thing I want to say, besides we've just covered the micronutrition, so remember that does not have calories, but that gives you the plant powders of those 30 fruits and vegetables and berries, and then the 10 omegas. But this is the actual calories that can also support you from a nutrition standpoint. And it's a shake, and it gives you the healthy protein, carbohydrates, fat that's all plant-based, gluten, dairy-free, non-GMO, high fiber, prebiotics. So there you go with our gut health, you'll hear about in a minute. Low glycemic. So that means that your sugar does not get absorbed. You don't have those spikes in blood sugar. And I will tell you, the amount of sugar in here is the amount about a half of an apple. And the amount is very, very small, and it's for flavoring. And so understand that this is high quality and extremely flavorful. You can do all kinds of things with it, but it's so good that MD Anderson Cancer Center did a study on our fruit and vegetable powders and the complete with stage 4 ovarian cancers. And they, cancer patients, they had 2 groups, one that had 10 servings of fruits and vegetables, and they had data on that. They had another group that took 5 servings, and then they had the Juice Plus and the Complete. And the information from both of those groups were the same. And the conclusion in terms of the measurable antioxidants and their protein status, they found that the 5 a day was the same as the Juice Plus. I'm sorry, the 5 a day and Juice Plus was the same as the 10 servings of the fruits and vegetables. So this is my way of saying that Juice Plus bridges the gap. It helps fill in when we cannot, because this study even proves that, the markers were the same. And of course, the improved protein status. And finally is we have this Juice Plus Perform, which just came out. It is awesome for recovery if you are working out. It's also good for collagen formation, bone health, energy production. It's tailor-made with all plant-based nutrients to provide a lot of what we call functional effects. And let me just tell you real quick about collagen, because that comes up all the time. We have all of the essential amino acids in both of our shakes, which means the body has what it needs in order to make its own collagen. If you take supplemental collagen, your body still needs to break it down and build it back up. And so it's best to have the Perform or the Complete, where you get all of the amino acids and you know your body's going to make what it needs. So I want to remind us again about the heart issue. We sort of started off with some stats about that. And it's the leading cause of death, as I said. And my real story, the rest of my real story, is that in May of 2003, the study came out from the Journal of College of Cardiology. It was number 7. It's still my favorite study, that showed positive effects on the arteries after a high-fat meal compared to not being on Juice Plus, that there was actually dilation, protection at the microcirculation because of, the release of nitric oxide, which is a vasodilator. So when they added when they added the berries to the fruit and vegetable, the results were even better because of that extra berry. But my husband, Mark, this was the year that he had his 90% blockage, 95%. He had a stent, and our son was 8. And it was shortly after we heard of Juice Plus. And that was scary. That was, obviously for me, probably the worst day of my life, and the best day that he was okay. But this was way back before everybody got stents. So this was a helicopter ride, out of town, 25 years ago. And so what really brings it home is that at the same age of my husband, my father, at 42, I was also 8. I was sitting on his lap right after this Christmas, and he passed away from most likely the same problem, what we call widowmaker lesion. And so that's why I'm passionate about heart health, because we can do something to help other people not go what I've gone through. And so the research with Juice Plus, it has been the catalyst. It started with that study with only seven studies. We are over 48 now. But these studies have been done at leading medical universities around the world. Juice Plus does not perform this research. These are independent medical universities that then, submit their information to get published. And so we are the most researched nutritional product. These are randomized controlled trials for the most part, at least the first 35 or 40 were. And they're, double-blind, placebo-controlled humans, done on humans, on bodies of people, not animals, and tested on the product itself and published in over 45 peer-reviewed publications. And, I absolutely love this slide, but guess what? We don't get the paper anymore. We don't get these in the mail like we used to. But I was talking to Luke, one of my partners, Juice Plus partners, a chiropractor, and I actually went to my closet and I pulled out this, the Journal of Cardiology. And we were here it is over here. We were talking about that study because it was fresh on our mind from conference. So, I do have a stack of about, 3 inches of these articles. But so what is the results? There's so many, we're not going to go over them, but we have over 21 studies that show that those nutrients are measurable in the bloodstream compared to placebo. We could stop right there and go home. Reduction in inflammation, the immune system is balanced, DNA is protected, protection with that antioxidants, those cells that are bombarded with the free radicals. You can measure the result of free radical activity, lipid peroxides, and you can see a reduction in those when you're on Juice Plus. 11 studies on athletic performance. We've just partnered with the United States Performance Center in Charlotte that is training elite athletes and potential Olympians. That's because we have 11 studies: heart health, gut health, cognitive function, and on and on. And so let me go back to what I told you at the beginning, that food is medicine. Do you remember that study? Prescribing fruits and vegetables could save 100 billion in medical costs. That was June of 19. Well, in November of 19, a study was published in the Journal of Clinical Medicine that looked at Juice Plus plant powders, as well as other fruit or vegetable options. Supplement. And they did what we call a systematic review from a public health perspective. So they took all of the research out there on Juice Plus and the other ones that only had maybe one or two, but they did this computerized model with a projection over 10 years. And so this is what's really, really exciting, is two things. And I went over this today for like the 10th time. So for the best of my abilities, this is correct. These numbers: Juice Plus had an estimated reduction of 62 million coronary heart disease events. 62 million in a 10-year projection of reduction in events of coronary heart disease. Okay, that's huge. That could include, death. It could include heart attack. It could include stenting. This is coronary heart disease events. Number two, an estimated cost reduction in the treatment of coronary heart disease of $109 billion. Do you remember my previous slide? Just prescribing fruits and vegetables, Tufts had said, could save 100 billion. Well, our projection, which included using Juice Plus, had an estimated cost reduction of 109 billion. So I hope that's helpful. Those are two numbers: 62 million and 109 billion. Reduction of heart disease events projected, and reduction in cost. Okay, we also have bioavailability, where we know it is actually absorbed. And there's my friend Rita, who at 90 is still having vitality. And she's the reason I'm here, because she said, will this help my sister with ovarian cancer? And so bioavailability has its positive effects on all of us. The immune system is balanced. We have 4 studies that show, compared to placebo, they are sick less often. Healthcare workers, athletic men, law students, and elderly smokers. Be prepared. We're coming up into that season again, right? And also, how about improved cognitive function? I'm just highlighting a few just to whet your appetite here. This was published in Antioxidants in 21, and better attention, improved memory, and improved processing speed. Okay, guess what? When they stopped the trio, the fruit, vegetable, and berry, and retested them, gave them a little washout period, everything that was not improved went back to baseline. So guess what? You need to keep taking it. And that's what's so fascinating to me. And then finally, with gut flora, everybody's talking about the gut these days, right? And so this was published in Microorganisms. It was a group of nurses that took the trio and the complete, and was shown that the environment was improved for healthy bacteria. These healthy bacteria are needed in the gut to produce more small chain fatty acids. And in this case, it was butyrate. So the bottom line is Juice Plus is the most researched brand name nutritional product in the world. And it helps feed your body with plant-based nutrition, and a body well fed is going to function better. Wow. Isn't that so profound? I like that. well fed is going to function better. We have a way to grow our own produce in 3 to 4 weeks. I have lettuce year round in my kitchen and aeroponic growing system, less water, less space. It's fabulous. And the harvest is plenty. And sometimes there's a little too much and you have to kind of give it away or stock up on it. So what we do know is that Juice Plus bridges the micronutrient gap, that these are the functional food, the plant powders that are in a capsule. And then we also have the complete for the shakes and the Tower Garden for the calories, the macronutrient gap. And so it prepares our physiology for optimal human performance. Remember what we talked about at the beginning. Where are any of us on those spectrums? And it changes from day to day. And so my recommendation, people say, is this good for this? Is it good for that? How about this person? How about that person? And we just go right back to how could more plant powders help you on a daily basis? And it's for anyone, anywhere, all ages. And I recommend 2 of everything. And you know what? I wouldn't want to be a day without it. And I am so excited about this partnership with USPC because, young athletes are going to also experience this. And, we've got some time ahead of us to start to really see the results with these athletes going, towards their next levels. So here's my goal is to have a rare condition called good health, and I'm not sure how to treat it. And I have to tell you, after practicing this message and sharing with patients over the years, it's been 20 years now. And no, all of my patients are not on Juice Plus. I actually had somebody yesterday who's an employee. I don't know why I'm telling the story, but it helps to talk about it, who has cancer, a kidney, now in the liver, and she's not working anymore. She was in yesterday and I told her about Juice Plus. She knows about it. She's heard about it. And she actually texted me back last night and said she was not interested. She would stick with her own plan. So just to let you know, I'm not sure what's going on there, but not everybody gets it the first time, second time, or third time, but a lot of smart people get it right away. And so, cost versus value. People pay for what they value. And how about, 2 apples, $2.64 a day? Well, that was a couple years ago. I think it's about the same now. But you can get the plant powders from fruits, vegetables, and berries for just less than $3. Get it free for your child. You can get that shake for about $2.50, say $3. You can get the omega for $1.10. For $4, you can get all 4 of the capsules. And of course, you know how much coffee and Starbucks, but I've got a fresh story for you. Hot off the press today. I don't have any idea why this happened today, but 2 patients were in. One, well, they both smoke. The one told me, I don't know how she told me this, about how much cigarettes were. And I said, she smokes a pack a day. I'm like, well, how much is that? And she goes, well, it's only $5 for the generic brand. And I just cracked up. Those were the off-label brand. And she said, it's $8 for the regular ones. And I said, oh, okay. So then my last patient today was hurrying to get out of the office because I had to prepare for this. And his name's John, and he smokes a pack a day. He's 55. And we've got his screening CAT scan done to make sure he doesn't have pre-cancer. We can do that now. And I told him the story about the other lady. He goes, oh, no. He goes, I smoke menthols and they're $10 a pack. And I told him about this talk. And he said, if they ever take away menthols, I just might have to quit. All right. So that was a digression. I don't know if that's helpful, but I thought it was interesting. So what is your health worth? What is your health worth? Certainly it's worth $4 a day. Okay. If you think about what I just said. So let's wrap it up. When one heart stops beating, many more are left hurting. So consider yourself, consider your family. What are you going to do to shift from the past to the future? You know, you were given this information today for a reason, and I am so grateful that you were here. And with that, I'm just going to say thank you for your time. Thank you for being part of this time together. Loretta, I'm just going to go ahead and stop sharing and let you sort of take over.
Oh my gosh, I have been glued to the screen. I'm sure everyone on this call is. By the way, Jan, record-breaking numbers on a watch party that I have ever seen. So yay for that. But I'm going to stop the recording. Hold on.